what are your top three accomplishments during your term of office? And why do you want the voters to give you another term? I will start with Ms. Robinson.
Thank you, and thank you for the question. My top three accomplishments since I've been in office, again, as I stated earlier, I've initiated the first youth programs here in the city of Stockbridge, which is our youth council, which has a part of our advisory board, as well as a teen ambassador program here in Stockbridge. Also, I was appointed to be on the Legislative Policy Council with Georgia Municipal Association, where I'm at the table to represent the city, not only just the city of Stockbridge, but also all 538 cities throughout the state of Georgia. In doing so, in Stockbridge here, I am the first woman, first African-American female to be appointed on those committees from Stockbridge. And when I say woman and African-American, I say that unapologetically because I've worked hard, and that is something that we need. We need representation at the table, so that way when we're speaking about our community. We want to make sure that when our legislators are speaking, they can hear our voice, what we want here on the local level.
Okay, I want to rephrase the question a little bit, because I want you to address what were your top three accomplishments for the city and not for you personally.
Okay, well, for the city, that is an accomplishment because we're at the table, we have a voice, even after our Eagles Landing, after the annexation. Even what we're doing here, we're getting ready to break ground, part of the group with Stockbridge. I was able to collaborate with our local communities, such as Clayton County, having that collaboration so we can revitalize the 138 corridor. So bringing our cities together, having dialogue, and that is something that is one that I had. And also, we're building a cultural arts center that we have here in Stockbridge. That is a
Okay, Ms. Robinson, thank you.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Testing. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, my accomplishments, I would like to talk about it because there's great things that's going on in the city. The first thing was I spearheaded the implementation of the Economic Development Director position here in the city of Stockbridge. The Economic Development Director position was key in landing the first international corporation to ever call Stockbridge home. Mr. Touchton was at the table. It took an inordinate amount of time in order to do that because we had obstruction on the council to fund the actual position. But once we did agreement in order to do that, Mr. Touchton has been at the table at the Atlanta Regional Commission, the Georgia Economic Development Commission, the Aerotropolis Atlanta, the Henry Chamber, and the Metro Atlanta Chamber. All of the above. The second thing that I'm most proud of is the supplier diversity policy that we have in place right now. It makes sure that women, veteran, minority-owned businesses, and local businesses have a seat at the table. That's in effect absolutely right now. We have local participation that we want to encourage local small businesses to participate in our particular community. The next thing that I'm most proud of is I brought the first Women's History Month proclamation to the county of Henry County. We started celebrating Women's History Month first right here. And even in addition to that, we honored and recognized Human Trafficking Month right here in Stockbridge because it's a great problem in our community.
The three accomplishments that personally I'm proud of is that when I first got into office, seeing a situation with smokers in the car, that we're the only city in the state of Georgia at that time to implement an ordinance that would disallow people to drive in cars, adults to drive in cars with minors in the back seat or in the car. So I'm very proud of that because it made news across the state of Georgia because there was no law statewide pertaining to that. The second thing I'm proud of is that I have one of the biggest back-to-school kickoffs in the county. We've provided over, in my tenure here, we've provided over 5,000 students across this county with school supplies, backpacks, and also interacting with the schools. I've helped them to implement leadership programs within those schools. But one of the greatest things I think I am also proud of is that I've helped to lead the city with my colleagues, helped to lead the city in creating a balanced budget for the last 3 years. And I'm definitely proud of that.
Thank you. And to the challengers, if elected, what are the top 3 things that you plan to accomplish during your term of office? And I'll start with the state level.
One of the top 3 things that I would like to establish with the city of Stockbridge is collaborating with our commissioners that we can get more work done in this community. Currently, there is no collaboration with our commissioners. And we have a park, Hoffman Park, that was closed by the baseball fields due to some infrastructure problems with the pipes. I would like to see us both come together and establish that as possibly a community center or area where both young and old can commune together and we can educate our young people and they can help us on the technology part. Secondly, I want to see economic equal growth for everybody in Stockbridge, not just for a few because of where you reside. We should all be able to grow and grow together. And third, my concern is with the homelessness. Currently, we don't have anything in place for those individuals that are homeless. So some of these vacant properties, some of these empty buildings, before we allow another Dollar General to come, I would like to see us utilize that for our homeless individuals. Give them a place to come to reside. Help them get the tools they need to get back into society. Thank you.
First of all, I want to make sure that we understand that the biggest things that we need is to be able to work together. As a council, we cannot work together, then we will not accomplish anything. So one of the biggest things is actually being able to talk to each other and work with each other and not necessarily take the credit for it, but make sure that the people understand that we're working for them. The second thing is working not only with the county, but the legislators to make sure that we bring things into the community. Because we're part of the county as well, but we're part of the state. And we want to make sure that those tax dollars from county and state come back to Stockbridge. And we want to find ways in which to do that. Even bigger than that, I like to think big, because if you think big, you'll get big things. I would like to see Stockbridge seen across the country as a destination where people are coming and not just a direction going through. We have to come up with ways to ensure that we are viable for the next 10 or 20 years. If we can do that, Stockbridge would be the place to be. That's what I'm looking for. And the only way we can do that is together. Can't do it one councilman at a time. And it does not matter whose idea it is. It is not the credit, but it's the job, so that we can make sure that we get that done. Thank you.
You all. Actually, I have 5 of those top issues. That's a part of my platform, but you only asked for 3. Okay. Community engagement, a viable economic and community development strategy, and recreational and wellness initiatives. With the community engagement piece, I learned from last year with the whole cityhood fight, a lot of people were uninformed about how our government operates.
It was very informative when they went to the town hall meetings that the city officials of Stockbridge were providing. I think we need to continue those. Continue bringing the information directly into the community with the people. Give them access to information as opposed to coming to the city council meetings. You can bring it directly to the community. Come to the HOAs, the churches. Okay. Recreational and wellness initiatives. I was very disappointed to hear about Cotton Park being closed. A lot of the issues that we're having, we need to reconcile some of our differences, learn to compromise. Collaboration is key in order for our community to move forward. A viable community and economic development strategy. I've worked with community development block grants. I'd like to bring some of those nonprofit organizations to the city of Stockbridge to help identify the needs of some of the people that we have here. So, thank you.
I mentioned two briefly over them. One of the top things is neighborhood planning unit, which will give voice to the voiceless. For those who currently feel as if they do not have representation, they can speak directly to the concerns that are in their neighborhood and move that voice, speak to the city council to let us know how we should then direct city manager and staff to address those concerns. I would also institute for low and moderate income households, single-family owner-occupied rehabilitation for their homes. We have seniors, veterans on fixed income who can't afford a roof that needs to be fixed that's leaking, a heating unit when it's cold in the winter, an air conditioning unit when it's warm in the summertime. One last thing that I would definitely also implement is not just more mixed-use development, but mixed opportunity development, which combines low-income housing tax credits that gives investors a tax break, while at the same time employing minority business enterprises and female business enterprises to give them an opportunity to work with the big boys in the construction industry. But also, the Section 3 will allow, which will mandate that local residents be employed in areas in which they are skilled. We have skilled laborers, skilled framers, skilled bricklayers here in the area. Why not just develop the buildings and have commercial on the bottom and housing on the top? But let's make sure that we employ locally.
Mr. Banks, what would be your top three things that you're looking to accomplish?
Just to echo off everybody else, we basically got the same thing. But what I want to touch bases on, when I'm out there canvassing, I listen to what people have said. And I've had the opportunity to listen to many seniors saying that their voice is not being heard. So my first thing that I would do is go out and reach out to the seniors. I had the opportunity to hear that they want to stop stoplight and they can't get it done. They want activities for themselves, and the city's not listening. I would also go out into the Generation Z and work with the children. The city is full of children that they have nothing to do. We have to create jobs. We have to create activities for them during summer. And if they have an idle mind, guess what happens? They get in trouble. So we must embrace our children, the Generation Z, all the way up to the seniors, and get out there and listen in transparency. We're not being transparent is what they're saying, that the city is not offering them. This room should be packed with citizens saying, I want to be heard and I want to be listened. I want to be that voice for them. Absolutely right. Also, secondly, I'm talking about the city and county relationship. It has to get better. All this fighting back and forth, county and city can work together to make a stronger city. And Stockbridge is the #1 city in Henry County. And lastly, for my veterans, I want a veterans center. There's over 1,000 veterans in our city. We have to have our own building where we can reach their needs and go and help them get the benefits, the medical that they need for serving this country. Thank you very much.
Again, I would say my top three, with my number one going right back to public safety. Again, I would like for us, as I stated before, to revisit. I mean, I understand the feasibility study has been done, but we spend millions of dollars, thousands of dollars on events, all different types of social activities, but why can't we put some money to the side, pull some money from another project, or whatever it is that we need to do so that we can have our own police department? So again, that is my number one thing, public safety. And because, again, community policing is an amazing thing that we need to do as well. Number two, as I stated before, transportation. How many people like sitting in traffic? I don't. And so, again, here in Henry County, we have a huge traffic issue. In Stockbridge, we definitely need to work with our county and see if we can come up with some options for possibly light rail and other better transportation options. Economic development, that's something, as I stated before as well, we need to create better jobs. But in order to be able to create better jobs, we have to have better transportation options here. How can we attract major companies to come here if we don't have the transportation for the employees to get access in and out of our city? So again, public safety, transportation, and economic development are my three things that I would go